Picture this. The sun sets over Washington, D.C. in June 2026. The iconic silhouette of the White House stands against the twilight sky. But tonight, the usual hum of politics is replaced by a roar. On the South Lawn, where presidents have walked and history has been made, an octagon glimmers under the bright lights. Inside, two of the world's most elite athletes are about to go to war. This isn't a scene from a Hollywood movie. This is the audacious, almost unbelievable vision that UFC President Dana White is working to make a reality. An idea sparked by a 4th of July conversation with President Donald Trump is now a date circled on the calendar, a promise of an event so monumental it feels like it's been pulled from the dreams of every fight fan on the planet. For a sport that fought its way from the fringes of society, once decried as barbaric, to the pinnacle of mainstream entertainment, this is the ultimate validation. It's more than just a fight card, it's a coronation. And as the man steering the ship, Dana White faces a task of epic proportions, wielding a fight card worthy of the most powerful address in the world. The scale of this dream is staggering. We're not just talking about a few VIPs in folding chairs. The plan calls for an intimate but electric crowd of under 5,000 surrounding the octagon on the lawn itself. But the party doesn't stop there. The vision extends to the National Mall, where a staggering 85,000 more fans could gather for a week-long celebration of combat sports. It would be a complete takeover of the nation's capital, a festival of fighting unlike anything we have ever seen. With a stage this grand, the immediate question that sends shivers down the spine of the entire MMA community is, who gets the call? Every single fighter on the UFC roster, from the unranked hopefuls to the reigning champions, will be desperately lobbying for a spot. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to etch their name, not just in UFC history, but in American history. We've already heard from fighters like Colby Covington, a man who has never been shy about his political allegiances and was the first UFC champion to be formally invited to the White House. You can bet he feels that spot is his by right. But in a galaxy of stars, two names burn brighter, cast longer shadows, and create more heart-pounding drama than any others. Conor McGregor and Jon Jones. They are the UFC's titans, two sides of the same brilliant, chaotic coin. And according to Dana White, both are squarely in the conversation, creating a fascinating dilemma for the UFC boss. Let's talk about Conor. When asked on a Jim Rome show if the Irish superstar, who hasn't competed since a gruesome leg injury in 2021, could realistically fight at the White House, Dana's answer was simple, yet earth-shaking. Yeah, he said. Just one word, but it opened a floodgate of possibilities. For years, the fight world has been holding its breath, waiting for the return of its biggest star. Is the fire still there? Does he still possess the lightning-in-a-bottle power that made him the first ever champ? Or have the years of luxury, controversy, and time away dulled the blade? Dana White isn't naive. He knows the baggage that comes with McGregor. The out-of-the-cage troubles are well documented. But as he bluntly puts it, this isn't tennis. This is the fight business. It's a world that thrives on larger-than-life characters, on spectacle, on a kind of beautiful chaos. And nobody embodies that more than Conor McGregor. White has set a timeline, confirming, I'll start making this card in February. That gives us months of delicious speculation. If it all plays out that way, Conor could be on the card, he added. The statement hangs in the air, filled with hope and uncertainty. Can Conor still do what Dana and millions of fans want him to do? Can he defy the odds one more time and deliver a performance for the ages? Imagine the storyline, the return of the king, not in Las Vegas, not in Madison Square Garden, but on the lawn of the White House. It would be the most spectacular comeback story sports has ever seen. Then, there's the other side of the coin, Jon "Bones" Jones, the man many, including Dana White himself, believed to be the greatest fighter to ever walk the earth. The problem with Jones has never been a question of talent, it's been a question of trust. When pressed on who he'd be more comfortable with headlining this historic event, Dana's hesitation about Jones was palpable. But surprisingly, his concern had nothing to do with Jones' notorious history with failed drug tests, a history that once forced the UFC to move an entire event. UFC 232, from one state to another on a week's notice. I'm never worried about Jones not being clean for performance-enhancing drugs, White admitted, before bluntly telling the critics to shut up.